In this video dated February 22nd, 2014, we're going to take a look at the updates to the Smotco site for the second half of February 2014. Let's go ahead and log into the demo account. The first thing we're going to look at is the improvements to the copy and paste feature of parts into an invoice. Let's go ahead and go into Sarah Dakota's invoice. And let's go ahead and add a couple of issues / jobs. Click OK. So now we have 3 jobs. Let's go ahead and pick the first one. Now, under More is Copy and Paste. Let's talk for just a minute about when you copy and paste something. When you copy and paste something, there's so many different formats that it could be in. The fields could be separated by a comma, a space, a tab, a semicolon. The site does a pretty good job at deciphering what the separators are, but you may need to know what they are in case you run into a situation where it doesn't separate properly. Let's go ahead and start with copying and pasting this, which is some part numbers, prices. Let's paste it right in there. Click Preview. The site's going to go ahead and try to determine what separates these, what qualifies these. In this case, it did a pretty good job, except for it split up the one word or one description of this one part. So we could simply put in a text qualifier, and you have 2 options here. You have parentheses or apostrophe. Let's use parentheses. So we just enclose this in those parentheses to tell the site that this is all one. So let's click Preview again, and now it's separated everything out nice and cleanly. We've got all the information in individual columns. So go ahead and click OK. Now again, the site's going to do what it can to try to decipher what column is what piece of information. Part number did a pretty good job there. Part description. Quantity, it finds the lowest number or lowest non-negative number and uses that for the quantity. Takes the highest non-negative number and uses that for the selling price, and then it looks for prices in between for the cost in the list. Click OK, and there you can see it added all 4 parts to this invoice. Let's go ahead and delete all those. And we'll go back to copy and paste again. And this time we'll grab these ones. Now you can see these are all separated by a semicolon. So let's click Preview. And again, the site did a good job except for the semicolons in the wrong place. Let's move it to where it should be. Try again. Okay, again, the site did a pretty good job of separating it all out by itself. If it did not, you could always go up here and tell it it's a semicolon. And again, it separated everything. Click OK. And again, OK. And there you go. It added all 4 parts. Let's go back here and grab this. And again, you can see this is separated by commas. Delete all those. And Preview. Now here, it did a pretty decent job, except again the radiator exchange came out as 2 words, and that's because there's a comma in there. Now it saw that everything is separated by these commas, and it assumed that these two were 2 different words, or 2 different columns. So let's go ahead and put that in parentheses. Well, let me show you apostrophes on this one. We'll tell it the text qualifier is an apostrophe. Click preview, and now it's separated everything out properly. Click OK. Now we're going to come back in just a minute and show you what these options are. Let's just click OK for that. And again, it added all the parts to this job. Now maybe you are going to copy and paste something right from a website. Now you can see I grabbed these descriptors from the top column. Let's go ahead and copy and paste that in there. Let's go ahead and preview it. Again, it did a good job of separating everything out. Let's go ahead and click OK. And again, it did a really good job here of matching everything up. The part number column, the part description, the quantity, the cost, the list price, the sell price. But now we don't want to put in these descriptors as a part, so we just tell it to skip the first line. And we click OK. And there you go, it added all 4 parts. Now we have 8 in there. Let's delete those. Let's say you forget to skip the first line. Not a big deal. It'll just add a part called part number, and then you can just delete that out of there. So not much of a problem there. Let's go ahead and delete all that. Copy and paste this again. Calculate price. Let's just put these in there again. And we'll go ahead and do this all over again. But we're going to change this price here to $3.95. Click OK. Now we're going to select calculate price. That's going to use any pricing matrix you have set up for your company, your location, this customer, or this vehicle. So let's click OK. Now you're going to see that even though we put that in at $3.95, it recalculated it based on the pricing matrix, and that was $34.95. So that was the original price that we had copy and pasted because the system had already calculated this price, and it recalculated it because we chose to have it calculated. So let's go ahead and delete all these. Let's go ahead and copy and paste again. This time we're just going to do one part. Just going to add this to inventory. Let's change the part number slightly. And preview that. Everything looks good. Click OK. Now we want to make sure we're skipping the first line because we don't want to add that to inventory. So we're going to click Add to Inventory. Click OK. And you can see now this is a stock item or inventory item. We can go into our inventory and we can see this part has been added. Now, let's go ahead and go back to copy and paste again. Let me copy this first. Just to make sure I get the right part number. And let's change the pricing. Again, matched up everything pretty well. Let's go and update inventory. And that's just going to update the pricing. It's not going to change anything else but the pricing. Click OK. Now we should be able to go into this part and see there. All the pricing's been updated for us. So that's all the options for the copy and paste. Let's move on now to the next item I want to demonstrate. In the last video, we showed that you can now add parts and labor to a saved job. To a recommendation. You can now also add saved jobs to a recommendation. So let's just clear this out of here. Click search to grab something. Let's check this one out. Do the quick view so we can see. Look, it's got parts and labor. Okay, that'll work. Let's go ahead and add it to the current job or recommendation. You can see that it added all those parts, added all that labor. Let's go back here, pick another one. Let's see what's in there. Okay, we can copy that or add that. Now, adding it means it adds to it. It doesn't get rid of any of the old parts or labor. This way it allows you to combine as many operations into one job or recommendation. So we can go over here, we can see that those parts were added. That labor was added. Let's go back over to Save Jobs. Let's check out this break job. And let's copy that over the current job. That'll wipe out everything in this recommendation. And put the parts and labor from this job in there. As you can see, got rid of all those other parts, added these ones. Got rid of all that labor, added this. So you can see that it added to a recommendation. So you can do parts, you can do recommendations and jobs now. Now the next thing I want to demonstrate is the Save Job filter. This is the Save Job filter, meaning you could put in a description, a year, make, model, and that filters these saved jobs. It now maintains state. And what that means is that these fields will all be saved based on the job or the recommendation that you're working on. Let's go over here to jobs for a second. One thing you may also notice if you've been using these recommendations or saved jobs to add is you had to pick from a pop-up menu which job you wanted to add it to. You don't need to do that anymore either. You just select the job here and then you add the job from here. So let me show you what I mean about this filter. So let's start with this one. Let's clear out from Volvo over. Let's just click search just to see if there's any jobs for 2000. There are. Let's just put in here break. So that should bring back this one. Okay. Let's go to the next job. And you can see it repopulated our vehicle for us. Again, let's just clear that. See what else is here. Let's put Volvo back in here. And we'll search for engine. And that'll return that one. And let's go to this next one. and we're going to leave Volvo in there. We're going to search. And we can actually put the S70 back since it's in this. Let's just do water. All right. So we've searched for jobs or saved jobs for each one of these jobs. Now, let's go back to this one. And you can see it maintained the 2000 searching for brake and the job. The job 2 maintained the 2000 Volvo searching for engine and the job. The job 3 again maintained the 2000 Volvo S70 water and the job. Now this is nice because let's say you're in the middle of this and you need to go over to another invoice for a minute. And you do whatever you need to do on this invoice, then you go back to Sarah Dakota's invoice, and we can continue with those saved jobs like nothing happened. It's all still there. We don't have to start our searches all over again. And let's even, while you're working the ticket, maybe you decided that, oh, this wasn't the right saved job. I can just click back on here and kind of pick up from where I left off. The next thing I want to show you is some changes to inventory and inventory management. Let's go over here to the inventory page. Everything that has to do with inventory has been consolidated onto this one page. No more jumping around from here to purchase order to here to return, here to purchase order history. It's all now contained on this one page. We could start with looking at a part. And here we have all our part information, allocated, the sales history, all the information that used to be on the part page that you had to jump to. It's all right here. You don't have to go anywhere to get to that. Used parts. There is no information that goes along with this other than just the used part information. Purchase orders. Again, our purchase order items will show up right under here. Let's find a purchase order. Well, there's one part or one item. So then again, everything's done from right here. You can process it from here. Switch over to the data sheet view so you can edit the information right in the row. Go back to standard view. Same with purchase order history. Let me jump back to purchase order for just a second. Let me just add a new part to the purchase order. I'm going to add it from inventory part. Okay. You can also open this part. No more jumping, taking the whole window to another part. You just open it, and that opens that individual part from the purchase order in another window. Go back to this page. Purchase order history. Again, these are all the parts that we've returned. And again, you can open this part in a new window if you want to look at it in more detail. Returns. These are open returns, parts that are waiting to be credited or be sent back. And again, you can open the part in a new window. And then return history. Same thing with your parts down there. So it just makes it a lot easier to work with your inventory. Again, you don't have to jump to this page, jump to that page. It's all consolidated right here onto one page. All the functionality is still there. Just made it a little easier to use. The last thing I want to show you today is a new home page we've created. This home page is a new option. We're not going to remove the old home page, as a lot of people have gotten used to it I don't want to make that change on anybody. So we've made it an option. And to switch over to a new home page, you go under More, switch to New Home Page. And now this new home page allows you to do everything that you used to be able to do in the home page, the invoice page, the jobs page. That could all be done right here on this home page. Plus, you can do quick quotes right from this home page. So let's go ahead and click on Sarah Dakota's invoice number. And that will change this home page into what looks like the old invoice page. From here, you can add parts and labor to a job, just like before. The customer info, it's everything that used to be on the invoice plus the actual customer's main or primary information, meaning name, address. And you can click on edit. You can update the customer's information, the customer note, the communication information right here from the main page. Vehicle info, same thing. We've added the actual vehicle info with the VIN, the year, make, model to this page, so you can edit that right from here. Job history. Again, we got the parts and labor right here on this one page. You can do your search right here. And we got 4 records returned. We can click on those, see what parts and what labor are in this job. Go over here to invoice history. And again, these are all the invoices. And from here you can open the invoice, open the customer, open the vehicle. No more jumping and taking you away from this window. So we could open this history invoice right here. Or we could open the customer information. Or we could open the vehicle information. But again, we never leave this page. Recommendations. Just like I showed you earlier, you can now do save jobs on recommendations. Add your parts, your labor. Vehicle documents, just like on the old invoice page, or on the current invoice page. Notes, all this is the same, all your parts. Now to close this, we just click close here or close here. And again, you can open the customer from here, open the vehicle from here. So we click close. And that brings us back to our invoice list. Contacts, just the same as the old home page. Receivables, the same. Quick quotes. You can work on all your quick quotes right here from this new home page. And if you linked the quick quote to a vehicle, it's going to automatically populate this filter for you. This quick quote was just linked to a customer, so it's going to give us no filtering information. However, this quick quote was linked to a vehicle, so it's going to give us our vehicle information. And it's going to maintain our search as well. So if we switch quick quote to this one, come back to this one, it's going to put all that information back here for us. Let's clear some of that out of there. Let's just pick this one. No parts and labor. This one's got some parts and labor, so let's go ahead and add that to the quote. There it is. Parts, labor. And again, we can add parts and labor straight into here. And we can go back to the list of invoices, work orders, etc. Let's say we're in this invoice here. We can actually jump over here to quick quotes, create a quick quote, come back here, and this invoice is right where we left it. Let's go ahead and close this. Now you'll see this homepage doesn't have the all invoices, work orders, work request tabs. To switch from one to the other, you just use this drop down and you go to work requests, and that'll give us just a list of our work requests, or estimates, and that'll give us a list of just our estimates, work orders, etc. So that concludes the second half of February 2014 updates.